This magazine is called The Book, in which this video is based on. The link's in the description below. This video is on Path 3, called the 70 Years. It is connected to the 4 horses. The 70 Years is broken down into 3 parts: horses, Tyre, and King of Babylon. In each of these similitudes, we see what happens in the 70 years and what will happen after the 70 years.
I saw by night, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse, and he stood among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom, and behind him were their red horses, speckled and white. And they answered the angel of the Lord that stood among the myrtle trees, and said, We have walked to and fro through the earth, and behold, all the earth sitteth still and is at rest. Then the angel of the Lord answered and said, O Lord of hosts, how long wilt thou not have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah, against which thou hast had indignation these 70 years?
Here we see the horses going throughout the earth during the 70 years, and at that time the whole earth is at ease.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. Therefore thus saith the Lord, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in it, saith the Lord of hosts, and a line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem.
Here we see that God is angry with the nations that are at ease, and that He's coming after the 70 years with a measuring line. What is that measuring line?
Judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet.
So here we see that the measuring line is likened unto judgment. What is that judgment? We see in Ezekiel that it is the 4 sword judgments.
4 sore judgments upon Jerusalem, the sword, and the famine, and the noisome beast, and the pestilence, to cut off from it man and beast.
So just to review, we see that at the end of the 70 years of ease will come 4 sword judgments from God. Now let's have a look at Tyre.
And it shall come to pass in that day that Tyre shall be forgotten 70 years, according to the days of one king. After the end of 70 years shall Tyre sing as an harlot.
We've seen in one of the past videos that Tyre represents harlot Babylon.
And it shall come to pass after the end of 70 years that the Lord will visit Tyre, and she shall turn to her hire, and shall commit fornication with all the kingdoms of the world upon the face of the earth.
So here we see that Tyre, or Babylon, will cause all nations to commit fornication with her after the 70 years. Now let's have a look at the King of Babylon.
And this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years.
In the book of Isaiah, we see that the king of Babylon represents Lucifer, Satan.
That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, How hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
So here we see that these nations would serve the king of Babylon, Satan, for 70 years.
And it shall come to pass, when 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon, and that nation, saith the Lord, for their iniquity, and the land of the Chaldeans, and will make it perpetual desolations. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel unto me, Take the wine cup of this fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it. And they shall drink, and be moved, and be mad, because of the sword that I will send among them.
So here we see after the 70 years that the nations serve Satan, that God will punish the nations by causing them to drink the cup that is at his hand. and this will cause the nations to be mad. What is this cup?
Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
So here we see that Babylon is the cup that is in the Lord's hand, that he will cause all nations to be mad. So after the 70 years, Babylon would be poured out upon all nations. So now that we've seen the 3 stories of the 70 years, let's tie them all together. In the 70 years, we see that the nations serve Satan, that the nations are at ease, and that Babylon the harlot is forgotten. So we see that after the 70 years, Tyre, which is Babylon, will cause all nations to commit fornication with her, and that Babylon is also the cup that is in the Lord's hand, and that he will cause all nations to drink. This is the exact story talked about in Revelation 17.
With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets.